Good evening and welcome to RTN Tonight, Glassboro's favorite mid-afternoon late-night talk show. I'm Sammy Trachak.
And I'm Medina Haji. We've got a great show today, so let's get started with the news.
In breaking news, the iconic ruby slippers from The Wizard of Oz are back on the market nearly 2 decades after being stolen in 2005. Yes, the shoes that once belonged to Dorothy, who, let's be honest, probably could have used them for a better pair of vacation sandals, were taken right off the display at the Judy Garland Museum. Authorities are still trying to figure out the thief, but honestly, it could have been anyone. Maybe a cowardly lion looking for courage, or a scarecrow just trying to fill out his shoe collection for his Tinder profile. Now, with an estimated value of $3.5 million, these slippers are glittering proof that the yellow brick road leads straight to big money. But what do you even do with shoes that can take you to another dimension? You can't just wear them to a grocery store unless you're planning on accidentally getting sucked into a tornado and showing up at your mom's house, where everyone still thinks you're trying to find yourself at 35. And here's the twist. If you buy these, you're not just getting shoes, you're getting a magical curse. Like, do you really want to risk up a lifetime of pop-up visits from the Wicked Witch, or being forced to do the wizard's taxes? So if you're thinking of buying these slippers, click your heels twice, because that's about all you'll be doing before you find yourself caught in the whirlwind of regret and unpaid bills.
The British are coming, and they're bringing old cake with them. A 59-year-old fruitcake that was gifted to Queen Elizabeth in 1965 has sold at an auction for over £1,000. Despite its age, the cake was said to be remarkably good condition and was a hit amongst the British bidders. Guess it's the one fruitcake that actually got better with time, unlike the ones we get for every Christmas. It's still unclear whether the cake was preserved in royal icing or just the sheer willpower of British folks. But we can all agree that even a half-a-century-old cake isn't the most unappealing food to come out of the UK when you consider Marmite, mushy peas, and something that sounds like an early 2000s Cartoon Network show, Bubble and Squeak.
A man who called 911 claiming he was chased off a cliff by a bear has now been arrested for murder. Yes, you heard that right. This guy tried to pull a Yogi Bear level excuse, telling authorities a bear literally chased him off a cliff. Which of course makes sense. Who hasn't been chased by a bear, right? It's basically the plot of every nature documentary, except though with few more murders and commercial breaks. But plot twist, weeks later it turns out there was no bear, just a grisly lie and a wild cover-up. Authorities discovered the only thing this guy was running from was the police, not a bear. Apparently his story was very hard to believe. Kind of like that one friend who claims they totally saw Kanye West at the DMV last Tuesday. Spoiler alert, that's not a bear, that's just bad PR. Now, this man's excuse is about as believable as the idea of the Winnie the Pooh characters secretly running a criminal syndicate. So here's a tip. If you're going to fake being chased by a bear, maybe don't follow it up with "then I fell off the cliff." That's a bit of a teddy bear moment if you ask me. At this point, he's facing more than just a possible consequences if you thought a bear would cover up his crime. Well, that's as positively bad strategy. Guess he'll learn the hard way when it comes to covering up murder. A bear won't save you, but a really good lawyer might.
A penguin named Gus was discovered on a beach in Western Australia, a 2,200-mile swim from his Antarctic home. The rare sighting has captured the attention of locals and wildlife experts who are working safely to return Gus to the colder waters. When authorities questioned Gus about the motives behind his journey, he replied, "Everybody's saying Gus is this, Gus is that. Gus is me, bro. Let me be me." He then grabbed a surfboard and hit the gnarly waves with a chicken named Joe.
4 people were arrested after an investigation into who has been impersonating Chuck E. Cheese, leaving authorities cheddar confused. The suspects Brianna Walker, Alfred Peoples, Charles Cheese, and Robert Thompson were all allegedly involved. But who exactly was behind the mask? Well, we're still not sure. Brianna Walker, for example, could have been the one in the suit. After all, she has that "I'm just here for the free pizza" energy. Who doesn't want to go full mouse mode after all-you-can-eat arcade buffet? Then there's Robert Thompson, who spends so much time at Chuck E. Cheese, he's probably on a first-name basis with the ball pit by now. I mean, if you're that familiar with the place, becoming Chuck E. Cheese probably just felt like a natural next step. Now Charles Cheese. He seems fine, no reason it could be him. And then we've got Alfred Peoples, who definitely could have pulled it off. The guy was probably just looking for a slice of pizza and a quick Instagram selfie in a mouse suit. I mean, who wouldn't want to go viral as Chuck E. Cheese, right? At the end of the day, it could be anyone. Literally anyone. Except Charles. But one thing's for sure, someone in that group was definitely mousing around with more than just arcade tokens.
43 monkeys housed at Alpha Genesis, a primate research facility in South Carolina, recently escaped from their enclosures, sparking concerns among local authorities. The animals were a part of a larger group bred for research purposes, and their escape has raised questions about safety. Local residents were advised to stay indoors to prevent any potential public health risks while the monkeys are still on the loose. Authorities have stated that 1 out of the 43 monkeys has been captured due to it jumping on the bed, falling off, and then bumping its head. The mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, "No more animal testing. It's inhumane and cruel."
That's not a bedtime story I want to listen to, but in breaking news, a jet crashed earlier today, and experts have confirmed something went wrong. No kidding. If a jet crashes, that's like saying something went wrong in the Titanic. They're not exactly breaking news here. Still, experts are digging into whether it was pilot error, a mechanical glitch, or if the plane just decided to test out a few Top Gun stunts. Maybe it saw the Red Bull can in the cockpit and thought, "I can fly higher." One passenger, who we'll call Chuck, said, "At first, I thought it was just some turbulence, like when your Wi-Fi cuts out during the middle of a Zoom meeting. Then the plane started doing loop-de-loops like it was in a James Bond car chase. I'm like, this isn't the in-flight entertainment I signed up for." While investigators try to figure out if the crash was caused by human error or just a rogue plane trying to live its best life, the aviation community is leaning towards the possibility that it's a case of oops, forgot to reset the autopilot. You know, like when you forget to turn off the ringtone in the middle of a meeting. Only this time it's 30,000 feet up. As for the plane, maybe it wasn't just feeling the whole responsible adult thing. Plans change sometimes, you just need a detour to Taco Bell, right? Authorities are looking into whether the plane made an unscheduled pit stop for Crunchwraps in the middle of its flight path. Stay tuned as they await further updates. This investigation could be a bumpy ride.
Thieves in London made off with a truckload of premium cheddar cheese from Neil's Yard Dairy. The stolen cheese was said to be valued at over £100,000. Experts are afraid that the criminal masterminds behind the dairy theft could be long gone by the time the wheels of justice catch up. But as of now, the #1 suspect is Olive Garden, because how else was I able to get my waiter to crank out 3 minutes worth of cheese into my shrimp Alfredo? Suspect #2, Chili's. I'm coming for you, Triple Dipper. When we return, I'll be meeting with a studio show's producer of Rowan Television Network. Don't go anywhere.
Timmy, your father and I have something to tell you.
Timmy, we're getting a divorce. I don't think he knows what's going on.
I told you this, John. He needs his stimulation.
Oh, Mom, Dad, what's going on? Oh, good. Now I can understand us. We're getting a divorce. What? What do you mean you're getting a...
Welcome back to RTN Tonight. I'm joined in the studio by the studio show's producer, Adam Ream. Thank you for coming on to the show tonight. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Medina. It's such a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. So to start off, I'd like to ask you, what made you become, or what made you run for studio show producer of Rowan Television Network?
Yeah, so I don't know. Since freshman year, I've just loved RTN. I love the crew here. We got some great people involved. And I actually was on this show. This was the first show as a crew member on my freshman year. And it just inspired me. Like, I love the stuff in the control room. I love all the stuff in the studio. And I just wanted to, propel that forward and see what I could do. Any, creative things I could bring to the table, and, just, see how I could better our studio program here.
And now you're running all the shows, right? There's 7?
I wouldn't say I run them. What I do is I run the team behind all of our studio shows. So the producers behind each of our 5 in-studio shows have full control over what they want to present. I just kind of make sure, everything happens correctly and there's no hiccups or anything like that. So, yeah.
All right. And then to follow up on that question, what would you say your day-to-day life is as studio show producer?
Well, in this position, the biggest days are Tuesday nights and Friday afternoons. That's kind of the biggest, days that we have in the studio for RTN. So, when I come in on a Tuesday night, I just make sure, the studio space is in order, everything's where it's got to be. And then I oversee our productions from the back usually, or if I need to come out and help, I usually do. So I pretty much just oversee everything that happens on Tuesday and Friday and make sure all the shows go smoothly.
And then I did a little bit of research. I also watched the film that you and Gavin Reagan worked on, Gratuity, excuse me. How was filming that? How was that whole process?
Oh my gosh, so Gratuity. Gratuity is a crazy film. It's me and my buddy Gavin Reagan, who's a Rowan alumni, graduated last year. We've collaborated a lot on making short films and stuff. And we just want to make as much as we can. So over the summer, we're like, we got to make a short film. And we just decided to make a quick horror movie. We shot it in 2.5 nights. And they were action-packed nights, but very fun. And we did it with a lot of friends and people from Cinema Workshop and stuff like that. So it was really just a fun project to work on, and it ended up actually getting a lot of views. So if you haven't watched it yet, go watch Gratuity on YouTube. Yeah, it's pretty
I will
crazy.
say, I watched it and it was intense. I was like, wow, geez.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. And our own Wayne Comic Jr., who is currently sitting in the control room, one of the producers of the show, stars is in the lead role. So please, go and support Gratuity and all the people who worked on it. Yeah.
It was cool watching it because I was like, oh my God, I know him.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know the people who made this too. Okay, so, sorry. Between between producing, show producing, and directing and making films, what would you say you prefer more?
That's a tough question because they're two, in my mind, they're two completely different schools of thought. Like, I almost feel like I'm living two different professional lives because I love my work here and what RTN does and the TV aspect of things. But I feel like where I truly express my art and my creative expression would be through the film medium. So I feel like you can't even compare them or pick a favorite because they're two different things. But if I had to choose, I would probably say filmmaking only personally because that's that's my art. But this feels more like a place that I can come in at almost like a job that I love and just make good things happen here in the TV studios. So they're very different, but if I had to choose, probably film personally. Yeah.
And then lastly, is there anything you would like to promote?
If I, honestly, just watching these live streams on the Rowan Television Network's YouTube or Instagram, you tune in. We go live every Tuesday night. All Access goes live around 7:15, and then we go live at 8:30 here. And then on Fridays, we got 3 shows that go live, starting with Rowan Roulette, and then followed by On the Couch and RTN News. So really just subscribe if you're watching, if you're not subscribed, subscribe and ring that notification bell. That's all I can really ask for. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Adam, for coming on to the show. And if you would like to learn more about Adam and the film Gratuity, you can follow him on Instagram at adamream.film. And don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll have Sammy put Adam to the test for our classic game of RTN Tonight, No Cap. You don't want to miss it.
You unlock this door with the key of, I don't know, clicking on this video, I guess. Beyond it is a Rowan Television Network show. A show of stupidity. A show of shirtless men. A show of copyrighted music. You're moving into a series of both laughs and screams, of sketches and cold opens. You've just crossed over into the Night Owl. Honestly, even this Twilight Zone music is probably fucking copyrighted. We're gonna have to cut the whole goddamn intro.
Hello and welcome back to RTN Tonight. I'm Sammy Trachak and I'm joined by our wonderful guest of the night, Adam Ream. Adam is now here to join me for RTN Tonight's game of No Cap. To give you a recap of the game, a timer will start when I ask the first question. From there, you will have to answer the 21 unopinionated questions as fast as possible. If Adam beats the record guess time of 1 minute, 8 seconds, held by Emily Schwartz, he will have a new record time for this season. So Adam, are you ready to play No Cap?
Indubitably.
Alrighty, let's get going with the game. 3, 2, 1. Visit the Jersey Shore during peak summer or the off-season when it's quieter.
Jersey Shore, peak summer.
Try the famous Taylor ham or pork roll sandwich.
Pork roll.
Spend a day at Great Adventure or the boardwalk in Asbury Park.
Great Adventure.
Have access to New Jersey's beautiful beaches with the crowds or a fewer beach with less access.
Crowds.
Drive the Garden State Parkway in a rush hour or take NJ Transit.
NJ Transit.
Live in a beach town like Cape May or in an urban suburb like Hoboken.
Urban, Hoboken.
Try a real New Jersey diner or a classic Italian restaurant in Newark.
Oh, I love my diners, man.
Take a boat ride to Liberty Island or tour Ellis Island.
Liberty Island, never been there.
Liberty Science Center or Adventure Aquarium.
Adventure Aquarium.
Stuck in traffic or on the George Washington Bridge or on the Turnpike.
The bridge sounds real nice.
Spend a day hiking on the Delaware Water Gap or exploring the Pine Barrens.
Pine Barrens.
Devils hockey game or Giants football game.
Giants.
Be on a Ferris wheel in Seaside Heights or a roller coaster in Point Pleasant.
Roller coaster.
Have a hot dog from Rutt's Hut or on famous Nathan's hot dogs.
Nathan's.
Experience a snowstorm in the mountains or a thunderstorm in the shore.
Mountain snowstorm.
Take a scenic train ride in the northern Jersey or a ferry to Manhattan.
Ferry to Manhattan.
Spend a day in Princeton or check out the art scenes in Montclair.
What?
Spend a day in Princeton or in Montclair checking out the art scenes.
Oh, the art scene.
Be at a rooftop bar at Jersey Shore or have a view of the Pine Barrens from a local brewery.
Jersey Shore.
Hike up the mountain at High Point State Park or explore the trails of Interstate Park.
Trails of the other park.
Food festival in Trenton or an arts festival in Red Bank.
Red Bank Arts Festival.
Experience the vibrant night in Atlantic City or a quiet evening in a small town vineyard.
Small town vineyard.
Unfortunately, your time was 1 minute and 41 seconds. Thank you so much, Adam, for coming onto the show. We would like to thank the Night Owl for their contributions and make sure to catch them on the Rowan Television Network YouTube. And thank you to our audience for tuning in to RTN Tonight Live on YouTube or any of our social media platforms. Make sure you subscribe to Rowan Television Network and turn on that notifications bell for more RTN Tonight Live episodes. I'm Sammy Trachak. Have a good night, Glassboro.